The 1% language. Before I share with you exactly what the 1% language is, I want to be direct, maybe a little more direct than I've been in the past, to prove a very important point. Who are you receiving your information from? The world we live in today, everybody is an expert. But what is the actual resume and experience that gives the individual that you're learning from the opportunity to share with you? So let me take you back before I share this 1% language that is going to absolutely change how you show up every single day in terms of impacting your clients. In 2004, I became a financial advisor for a Fortune 100 financial firm. I don't say this to impress you, but it's to impress upon the point. Because of my burn and the fuel inside of me to continue to write the stories of the little boy just like me. Remember, $100,000 of term insurance put me through college when my mother passed away from a rare muscle disease called amyloidosis. That gave me the opportunity to have this fuel, this burn inside of me that caused me to set records for the company that I represented for an advisor in their first year. That's what led to the opportunity for me to speak for the first time in Chicago at 26 years old. It's what then catapulted me by sharing with others, connecting them to their passions, their desires, with language and mental toughness. The opportunity to help them write their stories to get to their next level, which led to growing the speaking and coaching practice we now have. By the time I transitioned to doing this full time, when I sold my practice, I'm not an individual who didn't make it in financial services. When I sold my practice, in the 8 years that I focused on insurance, I sold over $3.1 million of premium. I was part of a team that managed over $250 million of money. I was doing it at the highest possible level in the top 2% of all advisors in that Fortune 100 company. One of the top advisors in the world. I share that with you to say what I'm going to share with you with this 1% language. Maybe what you'll choose to find out about your financial advisor academy for you on the mental toughness side, to dive into all the different ways we can help. The $1 million idea is that some of what I've learned from my experience as an advisor helps me understand what you go through. Now coaching some of the top advisors in the world, 25 advisors, every year I work with one-on-one. Those advisors bring in over $20 million of life insurance premium, over $1 billion of assets under management. The language I share with them, I'll share with you inside that academy. But for those of you who might not be ready for the academy, let me now share with you the 1% language, because this 1% language may just be the difference for you in your practice. To have that growth to say, I do need a coach. I want to get inside of that academy. I need to be part of the unrequired coaching program. So here it goes. I was on the phone with one of my advisor clients up in Michigan, and he calls me and he says, Ben, he goes, you won't believe this. He goes, I just brought in the biggest account of my career. It's a $10 million investment account. He said $6 million of the money is going to come over immediately, and the other $4 million is going to come over after the final sale of the company in just a handful of months. He was all fired up. I said, what about the insurance? Did you have a conversation about the insurance, right? The estate planning that's going to come with this type of sale of their company. And his response? He said, well, the insurance, I'll eventually get to it. He's like, but Ben, that's a really big premium. It's like over $100,000. And I said, you have to understand that what comes out of your mouth goes in your ears, and that's what fuels your belief system. See, you believe that that $100,000 is a big number, which created fear and doubt and uncertainty that the client would want to listen. And as a result of that, you chose to not even bring up life insurance, and you put it in the proverbial parking lot before you even asked if they were interested or not. I said, we have to shift our perspective and make the number smaller. This is where the 1% language comes in. If you're an advisor who hasn't brought in a $10 million account, this applies to a $1 million account with insurance that might be a $10,000 premium. The math works in any sales opportunity. We have to take the big number and make it smaller, but also have it fit into the context of why the client needs to make the decision to protect themselves. So think about this for a minute. What's $100,000 divided by 10 million? It's 1%. I said to my client, I said, check this out. This was actually on a Wednesday when he called me, all excited about this opportunity, not talking about the insurance, right? I said, reach back out to this client, phone call or email, and here's what I would share with them. I'd ask them the question. Say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, you've worked your entire lives to have the opportunity to sell your business. Do you think it would make sense to take 1% of your total net worth on an annual basis and do a transfer of assets on the balance sheet to protect all of those assets from estate taxes, to do that planning to make sure that the 10 million passes to your heirs, to your beneficiaries, those that you care about, to protect all the money? Would it make sense to take 1% transfer of assets on the balance sheet one time per year? So call your client and try. Friday of that same week, just 2 days later, I'm picking up my daughter and my son from school. I'm standing on the playground on the basketball court, and all of a sudden the phone rings. It was the client. And I figured, well, I'm not going to answer it right now. I'm getting ready to grab the kids, and so I let it go to voicemail. He calls again. I look down, I'm like, okay, I'm getting the kids. I'll be in the car soon. I'll wait and I'll call back. Finally, a third call comes in. I'm like, all right, I got to get this. It must be an emergency. I pick up the phone. It's my client up in Michigan. Ben, I'm sorry to call you 3 times in a row, especially on a Friday afternoon, but I had to share this with you. I just sold $120,000 of premium to that client. I used the exact language that you said I should use, and it worked. $120,000 of premium by shifting the perspective. The client needed the insurance. The client wanted the insurance. Oftentimes it's our fears, our doubts, our uncertainties as advisors that actually keeps us from having the conversations that the clients have to have with you. They're not going to have them with anybody else. We have to be courageous in our action. So try the 1% language. Shift the perspective. Take the premium number, divide it by the net worth. It'll be an insignificant amount of money to actually protect the client's desires, their wants, their needs for their beneficiaries and their long-term planning. Try this 1% language. I promise you it's going to work the first time. It's going to give you the opportunity to then go check out the $1 million idea, to maybe take a look at coaching with our team, to take a look at the unrequired coaching platform. We want this opportunity to engage with you. That's why I'm willing to give you one of the secrets of our coaching, the 1% language, because I know it's a way for us to connect on a deep level, to impact your clients, to begin the process of working together to take you to your next level.